Thank you all for coming. We are delighted to welcome Syed Haider Ali Saab, CEO and President of Packages. When I got a call from Mohsen, and I was in the midst of organizing 2 weddings in my family. I have 2 kids.
Oh, wow.
And both of them were getting married in the same weekend.
Oh.
And when he mentioned, and he was kind enough to say that, I want you to meet 2 people.
Yeah.
And one was the Counsel General, which I'm expecting he will probably come over. He did promise that he had another commitment. And he said, CPBC, because of the long-standing relationship that we had built up, I can for certain surely say the initiative that Mohsen brought to the table, and the relationship. And of course, I remember the Chinese food you asked that we suggest, and you hosted. I just want to make sure that you hosted that.
Well, we were pleased.
So, what I really want is to just have an informal session. I want everybody to make a comment, say a few words. That's the general idea. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from your side. We want to hear from your side.
Okay.
I want the senator to say a few words. I want the member of parliament to say a few words. My friend, I'm honored that I've known Brian for the last, I don't know, almost 17 years since I've been here. We have been Rotarians, we've been friends.
Good.
And now he serves on the board as the chairman. We have people like, organizations don't run without the support of people, and we have very strong support from the RBC, Royal Bank, and Imtiaz, who is the Vice President, South Asia and Middle East Markets, if I think I got that right. So thank you for coming, and we have some other members from RBC. Mo is always there. Mohammad Ashraf, one of our sponsors, always there to support initiatives. He was part of the board of directors at some point in time. But I still continue to get some good advice, some scolding at times, but by and large, it's been very, very good. It's normal. Nobody, for you, when I mentioned, he said, of course, I've been in touch. So Farooq Bhai is one of the founders. 34 years ago, Canada-Pakistan Business Council was formed. He's part of the founding team. I think we have Mo, one of our very active directors, Naveed Haider. All the events and the galas that happen and the good reports that you see, a lot of contribution comes from behind, and we are fortunate that we have a pretty good team to work. One person to recognize and to appreciate is the wonderful work that is being done by Dr. Zulfikar Bhutta. We've been sort of engaged with them and to see how we can promote the good work that they're doing. So we've gone through presentations on nutrition issues, stunting issues, and wherever we can, we try and put in. We did an article on them. We did a blog on the work that they were doing, and we'll continue to support. So Arfa, of course, like I said, she's one of the most engaged, passionate Canadian of Pakistani origin. Trying to give good stories. There are in the media, you will find all sorts of. She's the kind of person who will always reach out for good stories. And we are here today for the good story.
Yes.
This is a great story.
No, thank you very much.
And a round of applause for this joint venture. And I'm just going to throw it up. But Brian will, he's such a great person, and I will request him to say a word of thanks to capture what transpired in today's.
I'm the cleanup banner.
He's the guy who does make it happen. So
thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here, and I never realized it would be such a distinguished audience at lunch. So I'm very grateful for you to arrange this luncheon and meeting very eminent Pakistani Canadians. Just to give you some background, Packages, as most of you know, have been prominent in Pakistan in the packaging area. And our first venture outside Pakistan was actually in 1996 in Sri Lanka. Most people don't know about it. We went and set up greenfield plant in flexible packaging. And that went through its own trials and tribulations because we had the civil war. I was there with so it wasn't till I think 2007 that we ever made $1 out of that investment.
Wow.
And we kept putting in money. And then about 4 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, I got an email from a BDO actually in South Africa saying, would we be interested to look at South Africa? And I went to my father and he said, South Africa, it's so far away, why do you want to go? So I said, I would go, and looks very interesting. So I got onto the plane along with our finance head, went there, saw this company, and they wanted to sell outright. My condition was that, as we've done in Pakistan, Farooq Saab knows we've worked through joint ventures. That's what our belief is, that we will provide the local market knowledge, but they bring their technology and brands. So we said, we would like for you to continue as partners. So in this long story short, we started that joint venture 2 years ago. It's done phenomenally well. It was a slightly bigger company than what we have here. They had a turnover of about, I think, $25 million US. In 2 years, they've gone up to about 50. And we are growing that company. And then this opportunity came about, Canada, and how that came about, I have to thank Mohsen, because I knew Mohsen
I'm a little privy to that,
was working here. And after, we did the South African, so I got a little bolder. I said, now let's look at another, continent. Why not Canada? And Mohsen has been working with this company. We'd been in touch. And I said, why don't you speak to your owner? Is it for sale? He said, I can't do that. I don't know. I'm not privy to that knowledge. So I said, is it possible I can have a conversation with him? And about 1.5 years ago, I think, or was it almost? We had a conversation, and I was in Washington D.C. So he was kind enough to fly down. I think we had a meeting of minds.
Yes.
And I said, as I expressed it into our South African, I said our desire is to grow the company. We will acquire major shares. It depends how much you want to keep. We are very open in that. But the thing is to grow the base here, and then to see how we can use this as a foothold to grow into North America. And then Roy also visited us, and I'm very happy to see that finally we had this resulted in a culmination in a joint venture. And we just had our first board meeting yesterday.
That's right.
So and I've been I haven't I visited Canada last in 1988. So it's been a long. I come to the US every summer, but never up. And I think the opportunities are great here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Indeed they are.
And the customer, we visited some customers too, and in terms of skill level of people and stuff. So our intention actually is to see how we can expand further the base here in packaging, and also help perhaps export into North America, into the US. So our intention is not to acquire operations in the US, but perhaps do some more consolidation here in Canada. And then no reason why Roy's company cannot be bigger than what we have in Pakistan, because the market is huge.
So I recall, and Brian, you will appreciate that over the last many years that I've been involved, we've always talked about being part of the Commonwealth, and having Canada as the base, as a market stepping stone to a huge market of 350 million people, and that's something.
Yeah, no, exactly, because I believe, within 100 kilometers you have a market of 30-40 million more.
Yeah. Yes.
And so no, we are very.
I had invited Dr. Azam Muridi, who's the Minister of Research and Innovation in Science, and unfortunately there was a ministerial meeting that he did send his regrets.
And the other thing is, very few Pakistani companies who are multinational. You have a lot of Indian companies, and the thing is, why should we be? I mean, Pakistan be left out. So, and also then to create a positive image about Pakistan.
I've been talking about this to all the established people in Pakistan. I think it's that time. Slowly, I've seen that change. That shift of Pakistanis going international and doing reasonably well. We have other good stories to tell as well, and that's a great start. Actually. So that was the time when you went to get a visa for
Yes, that's correct.
for Roy,
Roy, yeah.
Yes.
and that's where you made the contact with Mr. Golo, and Mr. Golo called me and he said, "You haven't met Canada Pakistan Business Council," and one thing led to another, and so we
Yes.
got engaged and we started,
Yeah.
and we would stay in touch and he would update me on the Karachi
Yes, we
plant
went to
of
visit,
whatever you
yes.
did, and,
Right.
and so on. So I'm just kind of adding in a little flavor to for people to get a good sense of where we are. You can see BDO, and this gentleman is
Right.
part of BDO. BDO
Right.
is
Actually,
global,
BDO
so-
is the one who's representing Roy
Yes.
as the,
And you have bankers and you have professionals in the
Sure,
team,
sure.
and you have people like you.
Mr. Adali, what size acquisitions would be looking going forward?
So we have actually already started to talk, and Roy is, with his experience in Flex. So we are looking at, of course, this is smaller, but we're looking at anywhere between companies with a turnover between 15 to 25 to 30 million dollars
Okay.
Canadian.
Canadian. Yeah.
There's a lot of businesses that are facing succession issues.
Right. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
we're,
No, if you know, please let Roy know, because we said Roy should, be our eyes and ears here,
okay.
and we will then support him, during the due diligence process and whatever.
You have the full people like Jed and
My-
RBC and these guys who are into it.
So my colleague here, Jed, specializes in packaging.
Yeah, okay.
So we've had a conversation
Okay.
with
Yeah.
Roy
Okay.
already.
Okay, very
And we will meet up
Yeah,
with him.
please.
Medisa couldn't come, so we've agreed that at some point in time, whenever there's an opportunity,
Ji, ji,
we'll
ji.
start that initial,
Of
and
course.
then these
Of
guys
course, of course.
can take
Of course,
on
Navy
it.
would be,
So,
because we feel that, probably the quickest way to grow here would be through, of course,
Yes.
organically we can grow, but through acquisition would be.
Absolutely.
as much as it's an open forum, but I'd like
Yeah, of course,
Roy to
Roy
say a
should-
few words,
of
so
course,
that
of course.
then we can open up our conversation and so, Badr Shamim, past chair of Brampton Board of Trade.
Sorry.
It was- No, but thank you, I know you had another commitment. He's the past chair of the Brampton Board of Trade.
Oh, great.
Canada Pakistan Business Council is honored and delighted that we have a memorandum of understanding with the Brampton Board of Trade signed about 5 years ago. This year, we also signed an MOU at their invitation with the Mississauga Board of Trade. So there's a lot of
Right.
connectivity that CPBC is able to. So, Roy.
Well, I would first of all like to thank you for being invited today. And it's a real pleasure and to meet everyone. And I would like to say to you that Chandler Packaging, as we know it, or prior to the merger, was started in actually 1926. And it was a family-owned business, and we went on for decades under our own steam, but it became apparent to me that we couldn't grow the business without having some financial support from a partner. And I have to say to you that I'm ever so delighted that it's become Mr. Hatherley here. And we're looking forward to growth, stepping up the business, tripling, quadrupling the size of it.
आप start करेंगे तो
Ji, ji,
फिर हम-
please.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And as I say, there's a huge opportunity for the products that are produced in Pakistan, as well as what we do in South Africa. And we're looking forward to moving ahead in that area. And again, thank you for the invitation. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
How's your son doing? Is he going to stay involved? Is he?
Yeah.
So we've kept the whole
Okay,
team.
all right.
We've had-
So I've had the pleasure of meeting.
Yes.
So that's our philosophy even in South Africa.
Yeah.
We kept the whole team.
So we'll continue as we have lunch, but please feel free to step in.
Ji,
Farooq bhai, aap, Senator Sahab, would you want to comment now a little later?
Well, I wanted to thank you for, kind of forcing me to come today. I was in Vancouver.
No, thank you for coming with
And
me,
he
flying
calls
for,
me. He
for
called
so
me.
many. from
You had told me, but I had forgotten that you were still in Vancouver.
Yeah. So with the community, the first time I went about 5 years ago, they said it's about 15,000. This time when I asked, it's 30,000
Really?
people.
People there?
And you know, about 8 to 10,000 people come out for this celebration. So anyway, I'm really excited, and you know that we're doing it the other way, where we've got a Pakistani company coming into the Canadian market, and there is a lot of potential. And I'm hoping that once people see your success, we'll have other Pakistani companies
sure.
follow, because there is a lot of
Sure,
potential.
yeah, a lot of.
So I welcome you to Canada.
Thank
and
you
if there's
very
any,
much.
we can assist you in any
No,
way.
thank you
we're
very
always
much.
there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My only regret is I wish I'd come earlier and done something earlier, but I think that
So-
still there's.
But it's never too late.
So interestingly, I do these kind of strange things, and they work out nice at the end, and it's great. I'm really honored that you could adjust. We were there in Pakistan last year, and Nadeem Naqvi, I reached out to him, he finally reached back, he said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Karachi." He said, "I'm in Islamabad, and we're launching the Pakistan Stock Exchange." So I reached out to her, I reached out to Salma, I reached out to Andrew. Heather Cruden was just about to arrive that Sunday. I told Andrew, I said, "Listen, we are all here." So with a jet lag, Heather Cruden and this other representative, we all attended the inauguration, and we were honored to have lunch, all of us, with Ishaq Dar at that time. And Ishaq Dar has also come here, and we had outreaches with him and so on. So we're not going to go into politics. But we
That's the
just-
subject. That's the subject.
Still my friend. Still my
I know.
I stand by him, he's my friend still.
So as asked, we work with everybody. So it's in our role as Canada Pakistan Business Council, we work with everybody. We will reach out to. So whilst we work with the Ontario government, last year I had the honor of co-leading a delegation with Patrick Brown, which Yawarli Saab was there, and Shahbaz Sharif Saab hosted an exclusive dinner for him. And so all these relationships are she's taken Brad Butt, and then Umar Al Gabra has recently gone, and hopefully these visits will continue.
And Patrick has promised to open a trade office.
Patrick has
Lahore.
promised.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, Patrick's a good
Sir,
friend, and he's
Most of
Where, in Lahore or?
in Lahore.
in Lahore.
or across?
Well,
You told Shahbaz.
as much as and I'm fine with Lahore, I'm a little biased to Karachi because I'm a Karachiite, and we will see.
Trust me, everybody gets disappointed.
One interesting thing I should mention. I think the rest of the people over here know the trade values and the trade numbers. So, in 2016, when I stood up as the president and made the welcome remark, I said, I'm delighted to say that the merchandise trade has exceeded $1 billion.
Oh, fantastic.
So that happened, so I was able to announce that. And this year, on the 23rd of May, we had our 34th anniversary and gala and awards night. And I was able to stand up and say that, listen, this year, ending December 2016, our trade has exceeded $1.4 billion from a mere 650 in my first speech that I mentioned. So it's all positive, and it's all because of people making that little effort. Imtiaz going and reaching out, and these guys, and Badr trying to make a delegation in with Brampton and so on. All these guys,
all add up.
these all add up. Though it's in favor of Canada, 1 billion is an export from Canada to Pakistan. It's a mere 400 million
The other way.
the other way down. And there is potential. We need to work on
Mostly rice.
Lentils and.
rice and
coming.
lentil and a little bit of.
And what would be the major export?
Sir, what has happened is that we've been able to get the market to be interested in buying canola and agricultural products.
Canola is rapeseed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Modified to not have the negatives.
And I give a lot of credit to a lot of the community who has moved here, who are themselves linked with manufacturing
Ready
facilities
in
out there.
Pakistan, okay.
In Pakistan, there's a whole bunch of Bashir Janmo's brother in his Jungle Sen and or the Memon community, whole bunch of them.
Thank you.
And they pushed the thrust of increasing that business. Salma, my sister, I have two Salmas as sisters.
Salma's name has to do something with Canadian politics.
Yes.
Thank you, Sameer, and thank you for coming to Pakistan. And it's like when I read the message from Sameer 2 weeks ago, like I was really like very happy that okay, this is promoting trade between the two countries. We need to open Pakistan to the Canadian market and Canada to the Pakistani market, and I think this is a great example of how the partnerships can work and how we can open the trade between the two countries. So, as a member of parliament, as the co-chair for the Canada-Pakistan Parliamentary Friendship Group, I think that's our main purpose, to increase the trade between the two countries, to increase the bilateral relations, and this is a great way. So congratulations to all of you, and thanks to CPBC for connecting the people. And it's I've seen the increase in the trade over the number of years, and as like over 1 billion, I think it's a great landmark. So maybe we need to take it to 2 billion in
Absolutely.
due course of time. So.
Of course. And is your plan still on for
Yes,
January?
we have written-
So she's working on a delegation
Okay.
as part of the Canada-Pakistan Friendship Group, and they will take at least 4 member of parliaments.
4 to 5,
and
yes.
whatever, and hopefully if it gets structured in a way, then we will be working with them to take a business delegation. CPBC will support that initiative. and
Maybe
take
we
a
can
business-
visit you in Lahore.
Yeah, yeah, of course,
Yes,
we'll be honored.
We would love to do that.
No, no, we'll,
And so just to add to that, District 708 has been invited to take part in polio NIV days around the same time.
Is it
So
January?
we'll be.
I'm
be-
probably
Can you
going to,
connect with
just
each
out of
other so we
interest,
can, like,
if I can take the time out, I am going to speak in Lahore on the 10th of September
okay.
at a Rotary conference.
Okay.
The Rotary International Convention is happening next year in Toronto.
Oh, I
So I've been invited to be as the chief guest and the main speaker.
Okay.
I have to say, yes, I'm still struggling. Today was my first day as an empty nester, by the way. So I'm still wanting to. And I've been invited to witness of the 1,000 megawatt
Solar, is it?
solar energy between Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and signed by Perry Calderwood last year.
Okay.
There's an agreement being signed in September for, I don't know, 10 or 100 megawatts. And there's a gentleman who's involved, and he called me and he said, we'd love for you to come and be a witness because of the relationship that we built up with them. So there's a good chance that I will end up in September and then again in January or whatever.
Please let me know if you're in Lahore,
Most
I'd love to see you. So, what other Canadian companies who are coming?
Yeah.
Love to show them at least Lahore and what
So, but
opportunities there
I
are.
want this guy to say a few words. He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the one who made the connection.
He's the one
Otherwise,
who's made it
we wouldn't
happen.
be sitting here.
Yeah.
At least I wouldn't be here.
He's the culprit. Yeah, no, I think it's a very good story to tell, and we kind of put that story into reality, you know. And I remember it started like when we decided to go to Pakistan, you know, and we were we wanted the visa to be done as quickly as possible. We booked the flights, and I was just kind of roaming around and wanted to help me. Somebody could help me. So somehow or the other, I was able to call Golosab. And he said, what is your problem? I said, this is my thing. And he said, don't you worry, come to me. And I was amazed because it's unheard of sometimes. You know, somebody's telling you, he's the consultant saying, what's your problem? I can help you out. So he said, come over and what do you want? I said, because I remember Ian and Grant, they were coming from Germany. And in the next 2 days, we have to fly for Lahore.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for them to come back and present their passports for visa. And Golosab said, don't you worry, relax. Whenever they're going to touch down, come to me, we'll issue the visa. Because I told him this story, why we are going there. So I think the Consul General Office made a difference as well.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
they really they understood the nature of the things, and they decided to help these guys. I think when we went down there, I think then at that time, I think there was a vital time when both the partners decided that we should move ahead. And interestingly, even though the things were like in the process, but we decided to buy materials from Tripac, from Pakistan. So we decided to break the ice. So we went to their plant and we negotiated the prices. And I think that is the first container came from Pakistan.
That's,
That is the first one
I remember
ever
that. Yes.
came from Pakistan with the raw material of packaging film. And the good news is that now we are going to place the order for the fourth container just within 1 year's time.
Yeah.
So I think in the potential wise, if you ask me, if we are going to take a real-time leverage from our new venture, I think we'll be having every container per week coming in, every week. You know, so the
Brilliant.
market is so big.
Yeah, the market is huge.
This market is huge. So,
Brilliant.
so the thing is that, I've been, by the way, I used to work for Hadasab in packages, and I used to head the Lahore region. And when I left, he told me that keep in touch. So I said, sir, don't you worry, I'll be in touch with you. We'll keep talking. So we used to talk to each other, and I've been trained by professionals under the guidance of Babar Ali Saab and Haider Saab. So that really gave me, when I landed here, I was like a new immigrant kind of thing, you know. So, but the thing is that I was, Babar Saab told me that never give up. You're going, best of luck. We'll miss you, but never give up. Take this message from me. So that is the thing, I never gave up. And I went to Roy and I said, you know, these are my credentials. This is what I can do. And what do you think of that? He said, come over, join us. And then I joined this company, and then we really brought in huge business, big clients, and we grew. And that is the point when, as Harold Saab explained, that he called me, and that is the history.
Wonderful.
Sitting around here,
That's
and
great.
talk with you guys. So just wanted to share a small story.
No, this is how things proceed. It's, you create that culture, you create that environment, and you create that comfort level. If it's going to happen, then it's going to happen.
I wanted to, neglected really to mention in the beginning that when I did visit the Lahore facility and the one in Karachi that they have a joint venture with, the level of technical expertise within the company is astounding. It is really, truly, and the equipment that they purchase first-class quality equipment. So they can obtain speeds of production which are not attained, commonly attained in North America. So it's a really, it's surprising. If you go, you should take a tour of the plant. You'll be surprised. Yeah.
The tour that I usually take is Mr. Babar Ali's baby at one point in time. I don't know whether he's still involved, but that's the Lahore University of Management
Yeah, no, it's
Sciences.
very much involved.
Oh, very
Very
much.
much
So,
involved.
so the first time that I went, I was also on the trade delegation in 2007, and with Dalton McGuinty. And Dalton McGuinty spoke, and I was so impressed with the caliber of the students there and the question and at that time we were going through a little tough situation where there was the Sharia and those things, and it was a tough thing for Dalton McGuinty to deal with, but the questions that came out and the answers and stuff was phenomenal. So,
No, Lam
so
is very much his
you
baby.
are linked with it's indeed as much as they it's an honor for them to be with you, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are indeed connecting with a group of people, the caliber of people, the respect that they command, and the professionalism that they and the respect that they have in the system is really phenomenal.
Yep. I
Thank you
agree.
very much. Thank you very much. We're very lucky also to have Roy as a partner, because the company, as you said, is more than 70 years old. So
Samir, could I give
Go
him a
ahead.
little bit of background on Brampton?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Oh, you're fantastic. Okay, well, then some of this might be repetitive for some of our colleagues, but I think you should know Brampton, given your industry and your background. So Brampton is pretty much the hub of logistics, not just in GTA, but across Canada. We're home to the largest sea and rail intermodal in the country. And 45% of all goods that travel across Canada and from Canada into the US actually go through Brampton. We're 15 minutes from the largest airport in the country as well, so that also helps. And so those two assets have resulted in basically us having one of the most developed logistics and retail administration sectors in the region. Some of the largest national and international brands are housed in Brampton, from food processing to automotive as well as aerospace sectors. Brampton wants to basically not only retain and build upon those assets, but we're very keen on complementing our traditional manufacturing, logistics, warehousing base with more of healthcare and ICT. So we'll be working very closely with CPPC as well as our counterparts in Pakistan in coming months and years ahead to see what kind of compatibility is there between Pakistani businesses. So I was in Lahore in February. I have visited Wilshire Pharmaceuticals amongst a few others just to see what, at what level are they operating in, whether there's appetite for them to see what potential North American markets holds for them. If there is any interest in companies like those to explore Canada, then basically Brampton would be the gateway to the rest of GTA as well as the neighboring US states.
So, so we are delighted that we have these relationships and Canadians of Pakistani origin, all it's Canadians who are involved. But being that mindset, it's really great.
I'm very glad to see a lot of activity in the community.
In fact,
You don't see that across the border in the US.
So I'm speaking in the next few days. I don't even remember when is the date for the international committee next Thursday. So I'm speaking and giving them an update on the Pakistan file of what we are currently doing and what we can do further. So next Thursday I do go and brief the Brampton Board of Trade International Committee.
So Canada does roughly $74 billion a year just with the state of Michigan in a year.
Really? Wow.
And so
Fantastic.
that's the kind of activity we see from GTA as a region.
Yeah.
We do almost 35 billion just with New York, another 20
What
odd
about
billion
you?
dollars in Pennsylvania. So it's a mixed blessing because it does take away our manufacturers and exporters' focus from the rest of the world.
Correct.
And so at times it can be a little challenging to get them to see the rest of the world. But nonetheless, I think for Pakistani businesses that are keen on gaining market in North American markets, I think
Canada is the way to go.
you're sitting at basically the center of the activity here.
No, that's what we intend to do is to use this as a base to then,
So many years ago, about 15 odd years ago, it was a very positive initiative that happened then. When you're new in the community, you tend to live in silos, you are isolated, you just cling to your own. So a lot of people got together, and I should give credit to Andy Merchant for taking one of the leadership roles in creating what is called a loose alliance called the South Asia Business Council Alliance, trying to get the community of the region. So at times, there may be issues that are happening over there. In that part of the world, it could be whatever. But so what I'm trying to take forward is that even at times, if there will be no business opportunities, at least we can connect amongst ourselves, look
Talk to
at
each other.
Ontario first and Canada first as Canadians of Pakistani origin, Canadians, to see how we can leverage relationships. So we've got a good it goes up and down. We have personally, on a personal level, we have amazingly good rapport with the Canada-India Business Council, Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, the Sri Lanka Business Council, the Turkish Business Council, engaged with the UAE and others. So just make sure that business opportunities keep on developing and people keep on engaged in conversations.
You mentioned that you have connections with the Sri Lankan
Yes.
business community.
I see, because of the tight schedule, I wanted to invite Mr. Johar. Mr. Johar is the Consul General of Sri Lanka,
Okay.
and we work very closely with him. We work very closely with the Canada Sri Lanka Business Council, and on a formal level and also on a personal level, we've developed a great rapport. And so, from a Lanka packages Lanka operation, we should have gotten Johar Sahab over here. We'll do it the next time around. Okay, let's do it the next time. Unless there's a dire need for you to meet up with him, but otherwise, whenever you are here,
No,
we can catch up and do something. Of course, Dr. Bhutta, as you all know, most of you know, does amazing work. Really pride of the community. That's in health sciences and.
आप कब से हैं यहाँ? You've been here a long time.
No, I'm relatively new. I've been here 5 years.
अच्छा.
But I was, with Sameer's permission, going to change the direction.
No, I would
of,
like you to say a few words, please. I really would like you to.
From
to talk about-
real business to social business. So
Sure,
so my role is, Heather Saab, trying to link Canadian scientists and particularly young students with opportunities in Pakistan. So I run one of the largest research enterprises in Pakistan. I've been there, was there from the mid-80s onwards when I went back. And a lot of our work relates to things that may be of interest. So we've grown in the last 5 years from perhaps 1.5 person to now close to around 40 Canadian scientists at various levels engaged in projects in Pakistan.
अच्छा.
And some of those may be of interest to you as a group.
Sure.
I know that, your father and your organization is involved in a range of nutrition activities.
Right.
In terms of products and others.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued by your comment on potentially doing something about food preservation. So the facts are that in the north of the country, as well as in the very south, losses in terms of crops, particularly fruits and vegetables, from the farm to the market, are close to around 40%.
Correct.
And the bulk of that loss is borne by the farmer, by the producer, actually not by the middleman or by. So it is actually a huge poverty alleviation strategy as well as its impact on nutrition. So in the north, in the Daliat, in Gilgit-Baltistan area, although they produce a lot of stuff, fruits and other products in the summer months, their ability to preserve those and to have those available in the winters is virtually negligible. There is very little in terms of preservation technology in the north. And we see a seasonal pattern in malnutrition amongst women and children with huge.
In the winter time it goes down.
Absolutely. So vitamin A deficiency, doubles almost. Vitamin D deficiency doubles almost in the winters. So why do I say that in particular? Because Canada has had a long tradition of helping Pakistani nutrition. In the early stages of the polio eradication program, the vitamin A supplementation program that started in Pakistan in 1993, I was part of that, started with Canadian assistance. And even now, one of the biggest groups active in Pakistan, at a small scale, because they generally are catalytic, are the Nutrition Initiative. So I think there is huge opportunity of merging or building not only sound financial productive enterprises, but also linking them to social
Sure.
So, and here you will find tremendous opportunities within the diaspora here of people who are willing to link up and also potentially leverage some Canadian resources in terms of development assistance in order to do this.
No, I think that would be very interesting because, LUMS, as you know, has also got a School of Science and Engineering. And if there is a linkage that one can formed between the scientists there and the scientists in Pakistan to work on this, that would be very, very interesting. And we could, of course, you know, from a corporate side, support that. Because this, you know, as I was saying, malnutrition is a big issue in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
And, you know, for the coming generations, that will be a big challenge because you get stunted growth and all these other issues coming in.
Perhaps, Bhargava, you three gentlemen on my left are probably just enjoying lunch, but his comments, Farooq Dawud, one of the founders, you know that, but I'm repeating it to emphasize the contribution. This is what it's all about. For 34 years, he's been involved and continues to stay involved. And I requested him, I said, you know what, when I need some guidance, I pick up the phone and speak to him. So thank you, Farooq bhai, for continuing to contribute.
So Farooq sir, you've been here for 30, 40 years?
Yes. More than that. It's a long time.
Based here in Toronto.
Actually,
I think everybody has
BDO, he's the,
Right, then I got it.
Hamare BDO.
I think Canada, there's a lot of opportunities for the overseas companies to really come out and take advantage of it because being in the BDO, which is the mid-market accounting firm, there are a lot of overall managers who are coming close to the retirement age.
Exactly, that's what
And we
we,
have done a great survey out there, but I tell you, I've been with the BDO since 1976.
term.
The sad part out there, the old management doesn't think they're ever going to die or they're ever going to retire. So unfortunately, sometimes what happens is their own siblings or their own kids don't get into the business.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
So at some stage, you end up forced to sell it to the outsiders.
Right.
So I think there are great opportunities coming up in the last, I would say they have been there. We have been putting the plans together and new
We
opportunities.
will be very interested in to
And we were in
engage.
Pakistan. These two gentlemen who dragged me in. And we visited a lot of the industrialists out there. I was really, really surprised, I must admit. I haven't been going to Pakistan thereafter, but then we ended up going 2 years in a row. We must have met most of the industrialists, I would call it, a lot of the industries.
Top 100 families.
Okay, very good.
And it really surprised me how much talent is there.
Yeah.
The majority of the middle management, the young people are all educated in the West.
Right,
Very few from Canada,
Right,
but
right.
mostly from UK and USA.
Correct.
And they, not only the industry, the families in one business, they literally
multiple-
got every type of business.
Yes, yes.
So it doesn't matter what the recession is. And I think there's a lot of talent out there, and as you said earlier on, with the Indian businesses,
Yeah, why,
they start expanding. It's just a question of one start, then
yeah,
it just
yeah,
takes
why not
on.
Pakistanis? Yeah,
So, basically, the world is a global market right
yes,
now. So
yes, yes.
Yes.
overall, I think welcome to Canada. So
No, thank you
I
very much.
go
No, I'm,
through Farooq Dawood, who happens to be my golfing buddy once in a while, when he is free.
So, just to add to that and give you some context, typically the mergers and acquisition arena, in terms of expertise levels, are in the 10 million plus
correct,
range.
correct.
Under 10 million, there's never been a focus, but that's changing now because 70% of companies will come up for sale between the 5 and 10 million range.
Oh, I see.
And typically, they've been going to their accountants or their lawyers
Right,
to
right.
sell the business,
Right.
as opposed to having a M&A specialist
Yes.
do the stuff. It's a question of understanding the opportunity and building the scale up. So some of the institutions are now getting into that space. So I think from a timing perspective,
Sure.
because if it is not clearly defined in terms of the due diligence process, for somebody coming in new, it may be a challenge.
Correct, correct, correct. No, I think that is, I mean, when Roy and I talked and agreed, I'd not even seen the plan. I only saw the plan yesterday, which was after the. But we of course, we had our team who came out.
Of course.
Yeah.
And saw Chandler but I only saw it yesterday and I was pleasantly surprised of what I saw. So I think it's.
This is great news, actually.
Yeah, no, it's very,
So
I
when-
think the important thing is to find the right partner.
Yes.
Because, you know,
Always.
there has to be meeting of
Synergies
minds,
have to be-
everything.
absolutely,
And it's, you know,
Absolutely.
for us, it's always a a matter of trust.
Culturally, we come from that
Yes,
background, that
yes,
region
yes,
entire,
yes,
you know,
yes.
it's, that comfort level is so important.
And the other important thing, of course, for us is, which is, I mean, not an issue here in Canada, is, you know, ethics.
Yeah.
That, you need to be on the same wavelength there. I mean, I remember when we went to South Africa, when we were looking at other acquisitions, that was a big issue. Because, you know, if they have two books, then it gets very, very. Can't do- huh? Yeah, you can't.
He is an accountant, he knows it could be even the third one as well.
What you said is very reflection, because it's usually not the case.
Yeah, no, for us is, I think,
Very
you know,
clear.
everything, ethics comes first, everything else
Follows.
can be followed.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So what he just mentioned, they've been meeting people, and Imtiaz is some. Imtiaz is a relationship builder. I've known him since the weekend that I arrived 17 years ago. Okay,
It's been a long time.
it's been a long. It's,
Seems
I arrived on the 25th of July 2000, and we had a JIBA conference, our community, and that's where I met a whole bunch of people, and that's, you know, so he's a great resource. We are honored to have him as part of our, you know, coordinator and representative of RBC, and he and RBC can be. And when he mentioned about 100 families or so, I see that in spite of whatever the culture in Pakistan is, all the good families who have done well stand up and do a couple of things. And both perhaps in many cases, is one contribute and get involved in education, and the second is healthcare. And his father-in-law, Muslim Hassan's father-in-law, for example, is now he's just you know, contributing time towards the Habib University. The Habib group, as you
no,
know,
very well,
all
very
know.
well.
But that's Muslim Hassan, and you know, perhaps you don't want to list.
Yeah, I've been here now about 17 years. Of course, I'm part of, yeah, it's part of the Habib group, the original Habib family owned Habib Bank Limited. So we are in Pakistan as Habib Metropolitan Bank. We are in 8 countries, also in South Africa.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've dealt with HBZ Bank in South Africa, that's us.
No, I haven't.
But if you are looking for some
Of course, no,
you
we
know,
will.
banking facilities, we have.
Okay.
So we are in South Africa, we are in Kenya, of course, Pakistan, UK. So we are quite a ways away. Of course, we are not a Pakistani bank anymore.
Sure.
We were nationalized, as you know. as
Right,
we were
right,
there.
right.
So we are a Swiss bank. Our head office is in Switzerland. So we are in Pakistan as a foreign bank now.
Oh, I see,
So
okay.
Habib Metropolitan is part of HBZ. So we have 3 branches here, and we do a lot of actually international business. That's
Okay.
what our main focus is.
Okay.
It is more trade finance business, documents, discounting, and things like that.
Okay, very good.
So, you know, if there's
So I
any-
think even there on the, mostly on the export side, you can, or import side, you can get in touch.
Especially when it comes to emerging market risk. Even with EDC, there are limitations. Sometimes they can do.
You know, we understand Pakistan very well because we are there. We have about 350 branches there. So we understand the risk. We are not afraid of the risk in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, and we deal with all those countries because we are there on the ground.
Sure, sure.
So I'm going to put Naveed Haider on the spot. Naveed has joined our board recently, but she's been very, very actively involved. She's got a good sense of understanding, planning, corporate management, and so the events that we do every year, the 500 people and the 600 people and the 700 people events, a lot of stuff, she leads that initiative, and we've got her to be on the board as well, so.
Excellent.
Okay. So Naveed?
Can I tell them that you're a slave driver?
No, please don't. I thought you were my friend. Oh my God. Oh.
You got immunity today.
Yes. I am an entrepreneur and I work with clients to for interior design, so it's mainly residential. The reason I got involved in CPTC is I think Sameer's passion is contagious. The way he talks about CPTC and everybody wants to get involved. So got involved a few years ago and haven't looked back. It's been a fun ride.
It's been
But he
exciting.
is a slave driver.
Yeah, yeah.
And as especially before the events, we are working around the clock. We sleep for 3 hours and then we get on with our work and then we handle the events. But it's been a fun ride.
Mo, you wanted to say anything? Arfabin, you might, before you, आप कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे, then I will ask Brian to kind
First
of,
of
anybody
all-
else wants to say anything is most welcome to.
Thank you very much for providing me this opportunity. I feel I'm a bridge between people like yourself and projects what is happening and to the ordinary people. I am a radio broadcaster. I started my career from 1 and 2 hours. Now thanks God, I run the whole channel. And I thank Sameer Bhai that he let me came here, because many people these days they think that probably nothing is happening in Pakistan. And as far as what I'm listening here, I think lots of things are happening in Pakistan. There are projects which are taking place between Pakistan and Canada. And I thank Sameer and I thank everybody for providing me this opportunity. And my humble request is, because ordinary people, those who are settled, they are focused. Ordinary people sometimes they need some directions. People like yourself are role models for those people. There are very well-educated people out there, but they couldn't sell their abilities. So people like yourself can give a direction that these things are happening in Pakistan, and ordinary Pakistan who has some leads in Pakistan can come to people like Sameer and all others, and they can develop something and they can use their education and all those things, experience, to prove ourselves and our country and their work in the best possible fashion. Thank you very much. I can only offer my thanks because I deal with ordinary people out there. Again, I said, as I said before, I'll repeat it. There are very well educated. There are doctors who were working in a cardiac hospital in Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
But unfortunately,
They can't work here.
this is our company which makes us to get into some direction. They couldn't get into and they couldn't do those exams, and then things started negative in their minds. And they are my listeners. There are very well-educated, well-placed people, but now they couldn't sell themselves. People like yourself and everybody who's sitting here, they are role
Yes, that
models
was
for
very
them.
good.
That
Thank you.
you guys, I was listening to Mohsin and I was very impressed that he was from the packages, he got into Roy, and he proved himself. So there are very many other people. If I can make these success stories as part of our program, those stories can help very many people out there. And I thank Sameer Bhai. Sameer Bhai always, anybody who came from Pakistan, he gave us an opportunity to introduce them and to let them talk to ordinary people. Thank you very much.
People have to know the good stories. People have to know what you bring to the table and stuff like
That's
that.
the important thing.
That's what we can do. My dear friend, Honorable Brian Wilford, he's Honorable Brian Wilford. He's part of the Privy Council. He's also the chairman of Canada-Pakistan Business Council. He's now the honorary counsel for the Republic of Myanmar. He has his own private consultancy practice. A Rotarian, very engaged, and over to Brian.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As outlined by Sameer, first of all, the Canada-Pakistan Business Council is delighted to have you here. And as you know, this organization is about its members. So today we've heard about relationships, which is absolutely essential. It's about building trust. It is about ethics. It is about establishing the fact that yesterday I met with the High Commissioner of Pakistan in Ottawa, and I told him of your visit. He was very, very delighted to hear this, and obviously as an opportunity, because one of the things that we talked about yesterday was not only the export of Canadian goods to Pakistan, but the investment opportunities here. And I had the same conversation when I met with the Indian High Commissioner the night before. Of course, this is the week of 70th anniversary of independence. I can say that this is an exciting, good news story. And too often when we talk about Pakistan, the news is never very positive. It's not, if we just listen to the CNN news, you tend to get a very negative situation. And people are often reluctant. And we've had organizations and companies such as Second Cup and others who initially say, why the hey would I ever want to go there? And then when they do go, realize what a great opportunity. But the fact it is about partnerships, it is about joint ventures. I'm very big on joint ventures and certainly more than happy to talk about Myanmar as the Consul General for Myanmar. I have to put in a plug there because we also are looking now, and I had the pleasure of having some lengthy meetings with Aung San Suu Kyi when she was here in June, and we're definitely open for business. But the region is open for business. And one of the things we'd like to see is more of those relations. Free trade, obviously a free trade agreement between India and Pakistan would be the best for Canada, as a very important, and obviously as a recovering politician, shall we say, I was in the business for 26 years, and welcome to Richmond Hill, which used to be my riding. I can tell you that this type of relationship, and talking to both of you gentlemen today, very positive. And it is, in fact, that you kick the tires, you see if it works. The fact that we are a market that is so close to the United States, and regardless of what you may hear about NAFTA and everything else, it is really at the state level. And when 35 states are dependent on NAFTA, and when you have a market of 45, 50 million people, I think your idea of looking at Canada as a springboard will be certainly good. The acquisition issue, absolutely essential. And if Canada, Pakistan Business Council can be of any assistance in this regard, it's very important. I want to acknowledge our board of directors who are here today. They obviously do the hard work. The president does all the hard work and I get to do the cleanup in a positive sense. So I want to thank you. I always end with this. If you haven't exchanged business cards, please do. If you don't have a business card, give me a $20 bill. I'd be more than happy to remember your name. And I'm always good to see my friend from Brampton. I must say, I will acknowledge, as a former chair of the Richmond Hill Board of Trade, that Brampton is a real leader in terms of the work of their international committee in particular. So I want to acknowledge that, and I want to acknowledge that if you really want to know anything about Brampton, don't go see the mayor. That's the person right there. Anyways, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Mr. Ali, if you were interviewed by Bloomberg to give an outlook on Pakistani from a business perspective, what would you say? Like, what would you?
I think there's a lot of opportunities in Pakistan, and this is what we've seen from our joint ventures. Those who are operating in India and those who are operating in Pakistan. The companies who are in Pakistan have done much better. A couple of reasons for that. One is, of course, in terms of bureaucracy, though we have bureaucracy, it's still nothing compared to what is on the Indian side. And in terms of getting, there's no license regime or anything. There's only one, I think, approval you need, and that is for the environment on the EPA. You've got a 200 million population, growing consumer base. The other thing which is positive and negative to some extent for us is, of course, the local companies are not that strong. So if you pick up areas where the foreign company has an expertise, it's very easy for them to take market share. I'll give you the example of Nestle, for example, that came in only in 1989. When we signed the joint venture, the turnover was $40 million. And they came into water much later, have more than 50% market share. Last year the turnover was $1.2 billion.
Wow.
So, it's an incredible growth which has not been replicated by their company in India. Tetra Pak, which is another joint venture we have with the Razing family, their company in Pakistan is double the size of the company in India. So there are a lot of positive things about Pakistan. I think one thing which maybe the multinationals don't talk much who are already there, because they don't want to, get more competition. Share the. But those who I tell you, our labor and the talent pool is second to none.
Yeah, sure.
Extremely talented people. You give them the right tools, and they'll perform. This is what we've seen. Like Roy was saying, and we've had now. I don't want to boast anything, but we've had experts which we brought in from the UK and from Europe to look at our equipment and how we are operating. And you said you're operating at, speeds which are second to none. And these are people that we've trained locally. We've also sent them abroad for training. Done extremely well. So I think one, of course, has to have faith in the country. But it's not that we are continuing to expand in Pakistan, but we are also now looking at what opportunities there are outside. And the other thing is then also in South Africa, we've done that, and as the company grows here, is also then to provide opportunity for our people to come and work here. And then, provide a rotation maybe for 2 years. And, by doing this, they come in as lieutenants, they go out as majors or generals because they're taking bigger decisions. And the other is also for the families, education, everything they're able to get here. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. So I'm very positive about it.
So other sectors that you will look here besides the packaging?
I think what we've said is we should look at areas where we have, quote unquote, some expertise or some basic background. Otherwise, so packaging is one. Tissue is another one which we'd like to explore, because that is where we've also built up. So these are the two, I think, but there's, I think we were just looking at even within packaging, there's tremendous. You have corrugated packaging, you have plastic packaging, you have carton board packaging, a whole, dearth of companies there. So.
My father started a printing company here in 75.
Achha, okay.
So we have CMYK in our blood.
Okay, sure.
Labor is far more cheap in Pakistan. So
Gee.
how would it work?
No, so what our intention is to, without being disrespectful to Roy, we've seen that, companies here, especially the smaller ones, have been at times starved for cash, so they haven't been able to invest in the latest equipment. So it's to, bring in the latest equipment, train their people to operate in them so that, the overall cost of production will come down if the same person is now giving twice the output. Yeah. Because of having better equipment.
Labor is
What do you compare? Canada has a better and latest equipment, or us?
No, it depends. I'm sure the bigger companies have the latest equipment. So I'm not, but the smaller companies here, because they're privately owned, so at times they are cashed out. I know in the US too, there has not been much investment done in our type of industry, but
my main question was, for example, as I was told that they have already brought in 4 containers from Tripod, I believe.
Right, GG.
Now, in this scenario, in this combination, are they bringing in material from there, or are they sending orders there to enjoy the lowest rates of the labor? How would this relation be?
Of course, because the scale is, the plants we have in Pakistan are fairly big. So they're able to have a very low cost. I think probably the plant we have in Karachi is bigger than any plant here.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And their equipment's newer too. If you look at the only cast polypropylene producer in Canada is in Nova Scotia, and their equipment has to be 30 years old, maybe 35. And when you see that line that they put into Karachi, I'm telling you, do 90 tons in 24 hours? It's massive. It's the top of the line equipment they have. It's very impressive to see.
So we take pride whenever we organize corporate meetings and lunches.
Okay.
We take pride in trying to start on time and try to finish on time. I promised 2:30, I'm a little 5 minutes beyond.
जी साहब, आज के प्रोग्राम में खुश आमदीद। मैं जब भी कभी अपने वतन की तरफ देखती हूँ और मुझे कोई अच्छी चीज़ नज़र आती है तो मैं अपनी फीलिंग्स को शायद एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पाती। सबसे पहले तो बहुत शुक्रिया कनाडा पाकिस्तान बिजनेस काउंसिल के जनाब समीर दोस्त साहब का कि उन्होंने आज के इस प्रोग्राम में और इन शख्सियात से मुलाकात का मुझे मौका फराहम किया। उनका बहुत शुक्रिया। समीर भाई, आपसे जब भी बात होती है और आप जिस मेहमान को भी लेके आते हैं, कोई चीज़ भी फैब्रिकेटेड नहीं है, हम हकायक पे बात करते चले आ रहे हैं। और आज मैंने जितना कुछ पाकिस्तान के बारे में मिस्टर रॉय के मुंह से सुना, इट्स क्वाइट अनबिलीवेबल। हम अपनी चीज़ को हमेशा अंडर एस्टिमेट करते हैं, मगर पाकिस्तान इज़ अ ग्रेट प्लेस।
कोई शक नहीं है, there's no doubt about that. And like you and I spoke, and we spoke earlier on also, the fact that what people will hear and get a better understanding of what is happening is an amazing opportunity of joint ventures between two great organizations. It's a feel-good situation. It's a good story to tell. That's I'm a firm believer in that. That these are the stories that we need to share with people. These are the good things that are happening in Pakistan. These are the good things that are happening in Canada. We are an amazingly vibrant community, Canadians of Pakistani origin. I would like to say beyond 500,000 Canadians of Pakistani origin who have contributed tremendously to the betterment of Canada and Ontario. And whenever there's an opportunity, they have gone and played the bridge to connect our two great nations. Canada has always stood with Pakistan, going way back in 1947 to now. There's a new government and there's a lot of positive energies, and the rest I'm sure you will hear from the
Definitely. And today what we are going to talk about is this joint venture today, and again thanks to Canada Pakistan Business Council. और
इस पे भी मैं थोड़ा सा अगर आप इजाज़त दें, we've been involved for the last year and a half or so. हमारी conversation चल रही थी, बातचीत चल रही थी with the Consul General Asghar Ali Golo Saab. The consulate was extremely supportive, facilitative. We did whatever best we could as Canada Pakistan Business Council. So I got to know Mohsin Saab, and he became really the instrument of making this story happen. He's the guy. He worked under the able guidance of Syed Hyder Ali in Pakistan and Babar Ali Saab in Pakistan. And when he got an opportunity to work here, that is where he was able to do that connection. हमने क्या किया? हमने तो सिर्फ नज किया. हमारा काम ही यही है. Consulate का और Canada Pakistan Business Council का काम ही है to nudge and to create things happen. We don't buy and sell. हमने पुश करना है और अच्छी चीज़ों में होना है. Right time, right opportunity है. और Mohsin Masood साहब जो हैं, proud Canadian of Pakistani origin, good professional, and
Mohsin Saab, I was looking at your card. You work here at the Chandler Packaging Limited, and आपका इससे पहले पाकिस्तान से ताल्लुक जो था वो पैकेजेस के साथ था.
जी बिल्कुल.
थोड़ा सा अपना क्विकली बता दीजिएगा और फिर मैं असगर गोलू साहब को अच्छे लफ्ज़ों से याद करूँगी कि देखिए जब इंसान अच्छा काम करता है वो वहाँ मौजूद हो या ना हो, लोग अपने कामों से याद रखे जाते हैं. थोड़ा सा आप अपने बारे में बताइए.
जी बिल्कुल. पैकेजेस अगर मैं इफ़ आई गो इनटू द पास्ट, पैकेजेस मेरी पहली जॉब थी पाकिस्तान में, और पैकेजेस के बारे में मशहूर है कि पैक एजेस. सो दे ट्रीट यू लाइक ए फैमिली. जो मेरी लर्निंग थी वहाँ पे वो ये थी कि वर्क हार्ड एंड टेक योर डिसीजंस. यू लर्न फ्रॉम योर डिसीजन, यू लर्न फ्रॉम योर मिस्टेक्स. और मेरा काम करने का तभी मैंने वहाँ पे तकरीबन 17 साल गुजारे, और मेरी वजह यहाँ आने की इमिग्रेशन थी, ना कि कोई ऐसी अदर कंसर्न जो पैकेजेस से मुझे हो, क्योंकि आई वाज ट्रीटेड लाइक ए फैमिली देयर. सो आई वाज पार्ट ऑफ द फैमिली. इट्स अ बिग फैमिली. सो व्हेन आई केम हियर एंड आई वाज टेलिंग यू गाइस बिफोर कि मुझे एडवाइस हैदर साहब की वजह से भी ये थी کہ بی ان ٹچ, یو یوز ٹو بی پارٹ آف فیملی. سید بابر علی صاحب کی بھی یہی ایڈوائس تھی کہ بی ان ٹچ, اینڈ جس طرح میں نے کہا, انہوں نے کہا تھا نیور گیو اپ. تو یہ میرے لیے ایک گائیڈنس تھی. اور میں جب یہاں پہ آیا تو میں نے یہ دیکھا کہ یہ وہ ملک ہے جو کہ انکلوسیو ہے, جہاں پہ لوگوں کو اہمیت دی جاتی ہے, جن کو سوچ کو اہمیت دی جاتی ہے. ان کے لیے اپرچونیٹیز ہیں, لیکن اپرچونیٹی گریب کرنا آپ کی ذمہ داری ہے. کوئی بھی آپ کو پلیٹ پہ ڈال کے نہیں دے گا. محنت آپ نے کرنی ہے, زمین زرخیز ہے, پودے آپ نے اگانے ہیں. تو وہ جب میسیج میں لے کے آیا تو میں نے ڈیسائیڈ کیا تھا کہ میں نے کہیں بھی جاب نہیں کرنی, کہیں کام نہیں کرنا. میں نے کام کرنا تو پیکیجنگ میں کرنا ہے, اور یہ مجھے مل جائے گا. تو مجھے نو ٹائمس میں نے مسٹر روئے کو کانٹیکٹ کیا, انہوں نے مجھے جاب آفر کی اور میں نے وہ جاب لے لی. پھر اور جس طرح مجھے انہوں نے ٹریٹ کیا, انہوں نے اسی طرح مجھے ٹریٹ کیا جیسے کہ سید بابر علی کی فیملی نے مجھے کیا, حیدر صاحب نے کیا. اسی طرح انہوں نے مجھے ایز اے فیملی ممبر ہی ٹریٹ کیا. تو وہ جو ایک میری لرننگ تھی پاکستان سے, اور ایک جو میسیج تھا, میرا پرسنل میسیج تھا, وہ یہ تھا کہ جب آپ اپنا ملک چھوڑ کے آتے ہیں تو آپ کی جو پازیٹیو ویلیوز ہیں وہ ساتھ لے کے آئیں, اور دوسرے معاشرے میں جا کے آپ ریپرزینٹ کر رہے ہوتے ہیں اپنے ملک کو. جب آپ اپنے ملک کو پریزنٹ کرتے ہیں, اس کا ایک ہی طریقہ ہے کہ آپ خود کیسے ہیں
صحیح,
اور آپ کیا ڈیلیور کر سکتے ہیں.
بہت
تو یہ میرا ایک میسیج تھا. اور اسی لیے مجھے روئے کے ساتھ بھی, اور جس طرح پیکیجز میری پہلی جاب تھی, روئے کے ساتھ بھی کینیڈا میں یہ پہلی جاب ہی ہے.
صحیح.
تو وہ ایک کنٹینیوٹی ہے, اور یہ کنٹینیوٹی میں نے جاری رکھی ہے, اور انشاءاللہ پارٹ آف دی فیملی, پارٹ آف دی گروپ.
آپ نے تو پیکیجنگ کے ساتھ کام کیا, تو مگر میرا بھی تعلق پیکیجنگ کے ساتھ بڑا اسٹرانگ ہے. میں ابھی مینشن کرتی ہوں, ماڈل ٹاؤن سے نکلا کرتے تھے نا, تو کینچی سے ہو کے, اب تو لاہور بہت بدل گیا ہے, تو ہم کینچی کے راستے جب یہ ڈیفینس کی طرف آیا کرتے تو اس زمانے میں اتنا ڈیفینس, تو پیکیجنگ درمیان میں رستے میں آیا کرتی ہوتی تھی. تو یہ ایک قسم کی ہماری تھی کہ اتنی بڑی انڈسٹری وہاں پہ تھی, تو ہم اس کو, مجھے آج بھی وہی, حالانکہ اب تو بہت چینج ہو گئی وہ جگہ. اینی ویز, سو بیفور گوئنگ ٹو جناب سید حیدر علی, I'll go to Mr. Roy. First of all, I thank you very kindly that you provided me an opportunity to talk to you. So, you are the CEO of Chandler Packages.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, and I was listening that it's a family business for quite a long time.
Since 1926.
Since 1926?
Yeah.
Wow. Now, Mr. Mohsin K, when you, when he became a part of your organization, do you think that whatever he showed, and was he doing something great that you were inspired and you were impressed by the people who were working in the same field in Pakistan?
Well, I think that Mohsin was in the process at that time of immigrating to Canada. And we're all immigrants in this country. And he had a particular set of skills and pleasing to me, or well-educated and knowledgeable about the market. So he was an ideal candidate for the position. And I think that right now that Canadian employers, whatever, you know, that's kind of an anomaly now because there's so many foreign employers, but we've got to reach out and take talent. And where the talent comes from, it doesn't really matter.
You have to pick it up.
Good, solid people that are willing to work and do a good job and have skills and ability and are honest, and he fit the bill 100%.
Thank you very much. I'll come back to you again. Syed Haider Ali, آپ سے ہم اردو میں بھی بات کرتے ہیں. چیف ایگزیکٹو آفیسر آف پیکیجنگ, اور آپ کو سب سے پہلے تو میں پاکستان کو مبارکباد دیتی ہوں کہ پاکستان کا ایک اور یہ جوائنٹ وینچر ہو رہا ہے کینیڈا کے ساتھ. آپ پوچھنا چاہیں گے کہ, اور میرا خیال ہے سمیر بھائی از دا بیسٹ پرسن کیونکہ پورے پروسیس کے بیچ میں ہی ڈیڈ ایوری تھنگ. جی سمیر بھائی, کیسے یہ سب کچھ آپ نے ان کو اور ان کو ملا دیا؟
دیکھیں, بات ساری یہ ہے, اس میں صرف یہ کہہ سکتا ہوں کہ سی پی بی سی نے تو ایک کردار ادا کیا جوڑنے کا. جو بات ساری یہ بھی تھوڑی دیر پہلے بات کی گئی تھی کہ بیک گراؤنڈ اور سالڈ بیک گراؤنڈ دو کمپنیز کی تھی, اور وہ سینرجیز جب بنی اور people like Mohsin Masood صاحب got involved, اور کاؤنسل جنرل اصغر علی گولو صاحب got involved. مجھے اچھی طرح یاد ہے انہوں نے کہا کہ جی آپ کینیڈا پاکستان بزنس کاؤنسل کو نہیں پہچانتے, ملے کرتے کراتے. تو وہ ایک ماحول بنانا, ایک پازیٹیو انرجی. گولو صاحب کی ایک طبیعت تھی کہ جی وہ پازیٹیو کریٹ کرتے تھے, کچھ کرو, کچھ بہتر کرو. اور جو ہم نے ڈے ون سے محسن صاحب کو اور آپ کو اور ان سے جب ہماری ملاقات ہوئی, ہم نے کہا جی آپ ہمیں بتائیں ایز کینیڈا پاکستان بزنس کاؤنسل ہم کیا کنیکٹیوٹی کرو. تو وہ وہاں سے سلسلہ چلا, اور سال 1.5 سال میں ایک ریلیشن شپ کے بعد حیدر علی صاحب جو کہ سی ای
ڈی سی میں آئے ہوئے تھے آپ.
جی آئی مسٹ سے کہ اس میں ایک رول جو آپ نے آئی تھنک ادا کیا behind the lines was to give them comfort, to deal with the پاکستانی کمپنی. جو جس طرح آپ نے رائٹلی کہا ہے کہ جو یہاں نیوز میں ہے وہ لگتا ہے جیسے سارے وہاں ٹیررسٹ ہیں یا کیا ہیں. تو ناؤ فار کمپنی کمنگ فرام پاکستان جو یہاں کے انویسٹمنٹ کرے گا ان کی کمپنی میں, اور اتنی پرانی ان کی کمپنی ہے فرام 1926, تو ہم ٹھیک لوگ ہیں. سو اس میں آئی تھنک بڑا رول آپ کا بھی تھا, کیونکہ اس وقت یہ ایک جرمن کمپنی بھی تھی جس کو یہ دیکھ رہے تھے. سو دے کوڈ ہیو گون ود دیم, اور دیر واز اندر کمپنی کینیڈین کمپنی. سو اس طرح بھی ہماری خوش قسمتی ہے کہ یہ انہوں نے کنونس کیا کہ نہیں جی یہ, اور محسن نے بھی کہ یہ ایٹ لیسٹ ایک ان کو آپ ملیں دیکھیں. اور میں واشنگٹن آیا ہوا تھا, تو میری محسن سے پہلے بات ہوئی کہ اپنے اونر سے بات کرو کہ از دیر اے وے ہم کوآپریٹ کر سکتے ہیں, بیکاز وی ور لوکنگ ٹو ایکسپینڈ آؤٹ سائڈ پاکستان. ایز آئی مینشنڈ سری لنکا اور ساؤتھ افریقہ میں ہمارے آپریشنس. آفٹر دیٹ وی سیڈ کہ وائی ناٹ لک ایٹ آلسو کینیڈا. تو انہوں نے پھر رائے سے بات کی, اینڈ دین آئی اسپوک ٹو رائے, اور پھر آئی سیڈ اینڈ رائے اگین دین ٹک دی, انہوں نے انیشیٹو لیا کہ مجھے آ کے یہ ملے واشنگٹن میں, اور وہ بھی آئی واز فلائنگ آؤٹ دا نیکسٹ ڈے بیک ٹو پاکستان. اینڈ آئی تھنک وی ہیڈ اے میٹنگ آف مائنڈس. اور اس کے بعد پھر میں نے کہا کہ اس سے پہلے کہ میں کچھ اپنی کمپنی کا کہوں, آپ آ کے وزٹ کریں ہمیں پاکستان. تو ان کا ہی واز ہیونگ اے ہپ آپریشن, سو انفارچونیٹلی بٹ ہز 2 sons کیم, وہ آئے. تو اینڈ دے کیم ویری along with Mohsin, and then that was later followed by Roy, and which is culminated now in this.
تو سر آپ نے ابھی مجھے کہا بتایا جیسے کہ آپ نے سری لنکا میں, اور سو دس مین کہ پاکستان کی انڈسٹری جو ہے وہ
آئی تھنک بہت اپرچونیٹی ہے. جیسے میں کہہ رہا تھا وہ کافی انڈین کمپنیز ہیں جو باہر جا کے ملٹی نیشنل بن گئی ہیں.
جی سر.
تو وائی ناٹ, ہم پاکستانی کوئی کم نہیں ہے. جس طرح میں کہہ رہا تھا جو ٹیلنٹ پاکستان میں ہے وہ کسی سے کم نہیں ہے. ان کو خالی گائیڈنس چاہیے, ان کو ٹولس چاہیے, دے سیکنڈ ٹو نان. میں نے دیکھا جو ہمارے لڑکوں نے وہاں ساؤتھ افریقہ جو گئے ہیں, وہ ساؤتھ افریقن دنگ ہیں. وہ کہتے ہیں ہم نے ایسے لوگ نہیں دیکھے, آپ ہمیں 20 اور بھیجیں. اب وہ آف کورس ویزاز کا ایشو ہوتا ہے کہ ٹو گیٹ ویزا, وہ کہتے ہیں بیکاز ساؤتھ افریقہ میں ان امپلائمنٹ بڑی ہائی ہے. سو بٹ ہمارے لوگ پرفارم ویری ویل. سو آئی تھنک میں یہی کہوں گا کہ جو لوگ یہاں کینیڈا بھی آئے ہیں اور جن کو وہ اپرچونیٹیز ابھی نہیں ملی, تو ہمت نہ ہاریں.
بہت خوبصورت آپ نے پیغام دیا. اچھا, آپ نے ابھی یہ کہا کہ رائے کے 2 بیٹے دیکھنے کے لیے گئے, پھر بعد میں رائے بھی تشریف لے کے آئے, تو آپ نے نہیں بتایا کہ آپ ان کی انڈسٹری کو دیکھنے آئے تھے.
میں نہیں دیکھنے آیا. سو آئی تھنک یہ میں آف کورس محسن کام کرتا تھا, ایک تو ٹرسٹ تھا. جب ہم نے NDA سائن کیا اور ہم نے آفر جب دے دیا تھا, اس کے بعد ہماری ٹیم آئی تھی, اور وہ بھی خالی 2 لوگ آئے تھے بس.
آپ نے تشریف لائے؟
نہیں, میں نہیں لایا. سو میں پہلی دفعہ کل میں آیا ہوں, اور میں نے پلانٹ دیکھا ہے, اینڈ دس واز آفٹر ایکوزیشن ہم نے کر لی تھی. تو وہ آئی تھنک
پہلی جوائنٹ بورڈ میٹنگ,
ہاں جی, پہلی جوائنٹ بورڈ میٹنگ میں نے اٹینڈ کی. تو اس میں آئی تھنک میری یہ فلاسفی ہے کہ یو ہیو اے گڈ ٹیم اور ٹوٹل ٹرسٹ, اور ٹوٹلی ڈیلیگیٹ کریں.
میرا یہیں پہ ایک مطلب now I'll go to Roy. Now, Roy, first of all, I thank you very much that you took the chance and you went to Pakistan. And I am being Pakistani, I say, Pakistan is full of talented people.
Full of what?
Full of talented people.
Oh!
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, you watch media here. Were you not reluctant to travel to Pakistan or send your kids to Pakistan when they were invited from packages?
Well, we see a certain slant in the news on various countries. And in the beginning, I thought to myself, I will be taken care of and stewarded around. My only concern is that I don't speak the local language, and without anybody with me and something happens, like I need directions or medicine or something, I wouldn't be able to communicate. But I was well taken care of and I had no concerns. I stayed in the guest house. It was wonderful.
Actually, he's coming there again in December.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
So he's going to be a regular visitor.
Yeah.
Actually, not only to the Pakistan operation, but to our other operations.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, once you went to Pakistan, you said you were very well taken care of.
Yeah.
You've been running your own business here since 1926. So, how would you compare when you went to Pakistan? What was the state of equipment? What was the workmanship over there? Can you say in few words?
Well, I was rather impressed with the quality of the equipment. I mean, I've been in many, many converting plants throughout North America, Europe, and South America, actually. And the quality of the equipment that they have is outstanding. It's all European-based. And it's not as though they have a Bruckner line. Well, that's top of the line. They have presses from W&H. They're just superb. The equipment is really modern and up to date, and the workforce over there, I was really impressed. Some of the people that I met had 2 and 3 degrees working within the organization. They were very talented and very intelligent, and they were dedicated to it. So in the plant, I'll give you an example. We were walking through the plant with the production manager, and employees would walk over to him and shake his hand for their job. And that's an incredible thing, you know, by North American standards. I think it was really talented, well run, and the equipment is world class. You know?
बहुत ज़बरदस्त हैदर भाई सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा ये बहुत सारे बिजनेसमैन जो हैं पाकिस्तान में वेरी वेल सेटल्ड एस्टेब्लिश्ड और वो पाकिस्तान के साथ नॉर्मली कनाडा की भी सिटीजनशिप होती है तो आप कहते हैं कि आप तो कनाडा में बड़े अरसे के बाद तशरीफ लाए हैं
जी जी तो मैं बड़ी देर के बाद आया हूँ इसलिए कि पहले ऑफ कोर्स घूमने फिरने के लिए एक दो आया था 88 में मगर फिर मौसम की वजह से जिस तरह ये जो रिलेशनशिप हुई है अब होपफुली ज़्यादा होगा बट ऑफ कोर्स पाकिस्तान में बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं टू ग्रो बट मेरे ख्याल में यहाँ भी आके मैंने जो देखा है पिछले 2-3 दिनों में बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं टू ग्रो द लाइन ऑफ बिजनेस एट
सर मुख्तसर लाइन में कि ये जो आप लोगों की जॉइंट वेंचर है
जी
तो अब क्या होगा फ्यूचर में क्या
अब फ्यूचर में हम देख रहे हैं कल ही मीटिंग में हमने देखा है कि इनका हम देख रहे हैं कि इंशाल्लाह अगले साल इनका टर्नओवर डबल हो जाएगा इन 1 ईयर
क्योंकि ये वहाँ से मटेरियल मंगवाएंगे
नहीं मटेरियल भी मंगाएंगे और हम यहाँ इनको सपोर्ट करेंगे टू गेट एडिशनल बिजनेस यहाँ जो प्राइवेट कंपनीज हैं जो छोटी कंपनीज हैं एक उनका इशू होता है वर्किंग कैपिटल का कि पैसा इतना नहीं होता कि रॉ मटेरियल में इन्वेस्ट करें और क्योंकि वो क्रेडिट टर्म्स होती हैं फ्रॉम द कस्टमर तो उसमें सपोर्ट करेंगे ताकि ये जाके और बेच सकें तो इस तरह और फिर एक्विजिशंस का भी हम और देख रहे हैं तो वो रॉय बिकॉज इनका एक्सपीरियंस इतना है यहाँ की पैकेजिंग इंडस्ट्री में इज़ वेरी वेल नोन इनको इस्तेमाल करेंगे to actually see what other opportunities there are here. ہمارا مقصد یہی ہے کہ یہاں کی ٹیم کو بلڈ کریں اور اس میں اگر پاکستانی بھی انوالو کچھ ہو سکیں جو کیونکہ یہاں ڈائسپورا تو کافی بڑا ہے تو وائی ناٹ, سب کا فائدہ اس میں.
بہت زبردست. آپ کا سب سے پہلے تو بہت شکریہ. میرا دل چاہتا ہے کہ پاکستان کے بارے میں مجھے خود آپ لوگوں سے بات کر کے میں اگین اینڈ اگین سلیل بھائی کی شکر گزار ہوں کہ جو نیگیٹیوٹی ہے نا اس کو ابھرنے میں دیر نہیں لگتی. یعنی ایسے بات وہ کسی کہتے ہیں سینہ گزٹ, ٹھیک, مگر یہ اتنا بڑا پازیٹیو. اینڈ دین رائے آف کورس ونس آئی ہرڈ اٹ فرام رائز ماؤتھ دیٹ یس پاکستان کی انڈسٹری بڑی اچھی تھی, لیٹسٹ اکوپمنٹ یوز کرتے ہیں. تو لوگوں کو آپ وہاں پہ بتاتے ہیں کہ کیا عام آدمی کو پتہ ہے کہ پاکستان کس اسٹیج کے اوپر ہے؟
آئی تھنک جو اس ایریا میں ان کو پتہ ہے, بٹ آف کورس یہ فیلنگ بڑی کم ہے. سو یہ پازیٹیو نیوز آف کورس وہاں یو رائٹ ہمیں بتانی چاہیے کہ ہم کسی سے پیچھے نہیں.
کیونکہ سر قوموں کا اگر حوصلہ بلند ہو,
کریکٹ,
اگر حوصلہ بلند ہو تو میں بڑی سے بڑی پہاڑ کو سر کر سکتی ہوں, اور اگر میرا حوصلہ ہی پست ہو جائے تو چھوٹی سی کھائی کو عبور کرنا بھی میرے لیے بہت مشکل ہو جائے گا. تو یہ پازیٹیو نیوز آپ کو چاہیے کہ پاکستان کتنی ترقی کر رہا ہے. کیوں بھائی سمیر بھائی غلط تو نہیں کہا؟
نہیں, دیکھیں آپ کو پتہ ہے میں ہمیشہ یہ بات کرتا ہوں کہ کانورزیشن, بات کریں, بات کو پھیلائیں, اچھی بات کو پھیلائیں تو ایک چیز بہت آگے تو بہت دور تک جاتی ہے.
صحیح.
آئی ایم اے فرم بلیور ان دیٹ. میں آئی آلویز پروپیگیٹ کہ جی کنٹینیو وتھ کانورزیشن, اسٹارٹ کانورزیشن, وین یو ہیو کانورزیشن کچھ نہ کچھ باتیں آگے بڑھیں گی. بیٹھے رہیں گے کہ جی یو کانٹ جسٹ ٹرن اینڈ سے لیٹس انکریز دا ٹریڈ فرام 1 billion to 2 billion. You just can't say. You have to have meaningful conversation, meaningful dialogues, and that's where things can happen.
بابر صاحب, فاؤنڈر آف پیکیجز, آپ کا کیا تعلق ہے ان سے؟
وہ میرے والد ہیں, اور جس طرح میں پہلے کہہ رہا تھا از ویری ہارڈ ایکٹ ٹو فالو ان کی, کیونکہ ان کی جو انٹرسٹ ہیں وہ بڑے ڈائیورس ہیں فرام آف کورس بزنس, بٹ اس کے بعد ایجوکیشن میں.
پاکستان کے فائنانس منسٹر بھی رہے ہیں.
جی تھوڑی دیر رہتی ڈیورنگ دی انٹرم گورنمنٹ آف معین قریشی صاحب.
اچھا.
تو بٹ پھر بزنس سے پھر آئی تھنک ان دا لیٹسٹ ایئرز ان کا جو مین انٹرسٹ اور از لمس. اور ابھی ہم کٹھے امریکہ میں تھے تو بoston میں, سیاٹل میں, کیلیفورنیا میں اور واشنگٹن میں لمس کی ری یونینز ہی اٹینڈڈ, جہاں لمس کے آلموسٹ نارتھ امریکہ میں 1000 اسٹوڈنٹ لمس کا ہے جو یہاں پڑھ رہا ہے یا کام کر رہے ہیں. اینڈ سم آف دیم آر ڈوئنگ ایکسٹریملی ویل. So
again, some of those who are doing extremely well, do they give back to
country? We were talking to them کہ you know کیونکہ ایک لمس نے ایک پروگرام شروع کیا کچھ سال پہلے called NOP, which is جو بالکل لوگ ہوا ایٹ دا باٹم آف دا پیرامڈ, جیسے ڈرائیور کا بیٹا ہے یا مالی کا بیٹا ہے, اس کی تعلیم لمس میں کی تھی. آف کورس وہ ایجوکیشنل وہ ریکوائرمنٹس جو ہیں ایز فار ایز ٹیسٹ وغیرہ وہ اس کو لینے پڑتے ہیں, بٹ اس کی بھی کوچنگ کرتے ہیں وہ, کیونکہ وہ یہ جو بیچارے بالکل مزدور طبقے کے ان کے بچے آ رہے ہیں, ان کی اسکولنگ اس طرح نہیں ہوئی ہوتی دیٹ دے کین ٹیک دیس ٹیسٹ. سو ان کی پہلے وہ 2 سال پہلے کوچنگ ہوتی ہے وچ از فری آف کاسٹ. اور اس میں سے جو پھر یہ ایگزام لے کے لمس میں آتے ہیں, اباؤٹ آئی تھنک ابھی کوئی 10% آف اور لٹل لیس دین 15% آف ٹوٹل اسٹوڈنٹس جو لمس میں وہ NOP ہیں. ان کی ٹوٹل پھر جو ٹیوشن ہے, لیونگ, ایوری تھنگ از پیڈ فور.
15%.
آئی تھنک 15 سے تھوڑا کم ہے میرے یہاں میں 10-12% ہے.
اس کا مقصد یہ ہے کہ پاکستان کا ایک اسٹرانگ بزنس مین جس نے کاروبار میں اپنے آپ کو اسٹیبلش کیا, اس نے صرف اپنی دولت کو نہیں بڑھایا بلکہ اس نے عوام کو علم کی دولت دی.
علم سب سے بڑی دولت,
امپاور کیا نا.
علم سب سے بڑی دولت
بابر صاحب
جو کوئی لے کے نہیں جا سکتا. آئی مین دولت تو آتی ہے جاتی ہے,
میں تو لب لباب یہی مقصد نکال رہی ہوں کہ دس از ناٹ دیٹ بابر صاحب واز ڈوئنگ اے بزنس بٹ ہی واز امپاورنگ ادرس, ادر پیپل, ناٹ اونلی دا رچ بٹ ہی براٹ
empowering the nation.
کریکٹ. اور آپ دیکھیں ان میں سے کئی جو آئی مین یہ NOP اسٹوڈنٹس ہیں I met some of them Howard में,
MashaAllah.
you know, some of them are in Amazon doing extremely well. और जितना वो वहाँ महीने में कमाते हैं, you know, पूरी family उनकी उतना पाकिस्तान में साल में नहीं कमाते. So they are supporting their families वहाँ पाकिस्तान में भी. So वो सारी family, you know, their whole lives change.
माशाल्लाह. सर मुझे आपसे मिलके इतना अच्छा लगा. अगेन एंड अगेन थैंक यू समीर भाई. और
नहीं, समीर भाई की वजह से मुलाकात आपसे.
और मैं सर आम आदमी तक ये पैगाम लेके जाना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि हम समझते हैं कि पता नहीं जी वो पैसा लेके भाग गया, वो पैसा लेके भाग गया. नो, देयर आर पीपल हु आर डूइंग एक्सट्रीमली गुड वर्क एंड दे आर लिविंग इन पाकिस्तान. और दे आर empowering nation. They are doing everything best. जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज दे रहे हैं कितनी दुनिया को. कितने एम्प्लॉइज है इस वक्त
जी हमारे ग्रुप में कोई 20,000 से ज़्यादा है.
माशाल्लाह. You have one plant in Karachi as well?
जी we have plant in Karachi और plant in Lahore, plant in Kasur और then of course Sri Lanka में.
If I may interject, एक और इनका जो पैकेजेस का और इस ग्रुप का जो बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है कि इट्स नॉट नेसेसरली कि डायरेक्टली एम्प्लॉय करते हैं, लेकिन जो डाउन स्ट्रीम में जो इनडायरेक्टली जो डाउन स्ट्रीम में जो जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज और वो डेवलप होती हैं, वो तो बहुत ही अमेजिंग है.
एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. अब एक पेपर मिल हमने लगाई है कसूर में कुछ साल पहले जिसका नाम है बुले शाह के नाम पे हमने लगाई है बिकॉज वो कसूर में यू नो उनका वहाँ है. तो ये बायोमास पे है. बायोमास का मतलब है कि ये हम पावर जनरेट करते हैं तूड़ी से. सो जो अक्सर फार्मर्स या फीड के लिए यूज़ होती है सम, बट कई तो जला भी देते हैं, या कॉर्न स्टॉक. तो वो हम लेके वो ख़रीदते हैं हम, और तकरीबन एवरी ईयर तकरीबन इनटू द फार्मिंग कम्युनिटी हम $30 मिलियन की तूड़ी ये खरीद रहे हैं जो वैसे यूज़ नहीं हो रही थी. सो ऑल दिस मनी इज़ गोइंग इनटू in the system into the rural community. और उसका फ़ायदा ये है कि ये ग्रीन एनर्जी है, क्योंकि ना हम तेल यूज़ कर रहे हैं ना गैस यूज़ कर रहे हैं. आपको पता है पाकिस्तान में एनर्जी की कितनी. So this is one of its kind of a power plant that we set up last year, and we hope कि दूसरे भी others would follow in this.
अगर आप कंपेयर करें, क्योंकि मैं एज आई सेड बिफोर आई ट्रैवल टू इंडिया, वहाँ पे इंडिया में एवरी स्टेप मेड इन इंडिया, मेक इन इंडिया, ये मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा सुना. तो पाकिस्तान में भी माशाल्लाह तरक्की तो हो रही है.
बहुत हो रही है. आप देखें टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर तो हमारा था, गारमेंट्स, अदर इंडस्ट्रीज आर डूइंग वेरी वेल. लोगों को बाहर इतना उसका पता नहीं है. आपको मैं एग्जांपल,
यही तो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि लोगों को, मोहसिन भाई आप अंडरस्टैंड कर रहे हैं मैं क्या कह रही हूँ, कि आम आदमी को उस नेगेटिविटी से हटा के वो जो पॉजिटिव काम हो रहा है उसकी तरफ उसकी तवज्जो
दिलाएं. और एग्जांपल एक देता हूँ. मुझे पेप्सी को बता रहे थे कि अब उन्होंने लेस का प्लांट लगाया, पोटैटो चिप्स का. आई थिंक कुछ 8-9 साल हो गए कि जब वो 6 साल में थे पाकिस्तान में, they were selling more chips or producing more chips from that plant than India and China combined in year 6.
Wow.
अब ये लोगों को अब देखें, so वो उसकी डिमांड है, और उसकी you know, and so there are a lot of stories like that.
जी
बहुत अच्छा लगा बात करना. तो आपके साथ तो बात करने के लिए मेरे ख्याल घंटों घंटे हों, मगर रेडियो पे जरूर हम इनसे बात करें.
आप उनको कन्विंस करें.
आप कब तक तशरीफ रखते हैं यहाँ?
जी मैं आज एक्चुअली रात को ही जा रहा हूँ और फिर वापस पाकिस्तान जा रहा हूँ.
बहुत शुक्रिया.
इंशाल्लाह आता रहूँगा. तो
Roy, thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you.